Hi everyone, I'm Dan with UMT360. Today I'd like to show you a quick start on setting up Azure Boards to help improve the performance of your Agile team. But first, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my team at UMT360. UMT360 is a Microsoft Certified Gold partner. We help organizations deploy and optimize Microsoft productivity and work management tools such as Office 365, Project Online, and Azure Boards. We offer project and portfolio management consulting services to help organizations build strong PPM capabilities. We work with our clients to develop and implement PPM process improvement roadmaps based on our proven framework we call the VIC. And we enhance existing work management systems with a suite of portfolio and strategy execution management software to tie all the systems together. Our software helps many organizations improve decision-making and accelerate their business transformation. One thing that I think is cool about our work at UMT360 is we get recognition from our industry partners. We've been a Gartner Cool Vendor in PPM, and our software is listed as a visionary in Gartner's IT Portfolio Management Magic Quadrant. We are also a multi-year winner of Microsoft's Partner of the Year award. As such, we are uniquely suited to deliver innovative project, portfolio, and work management solutions and guidance to our clients. From to-do lists and planner to Azure Boards and Project Online, Microsoft offers a complete set of work management software that can help individuals, teams, and the entire enterprise perform at their peak. My team at UMT360 is here to help you better understand and implement these tools so you can achieve more in less time and get it right the first time. Let's get deeper into Azure Boards, shall we? So what is Azure Boards? First, it's a powerful work management software platform designed for development teams. It is web-based and it can be accessed by software development tools such as Visual Studio. It is part of Microsoft Azure DevOps platform and is tightly integrated with GitHub and Team Foundation code repositories. Azure Boards natively supports Agile, Scrum, and CMMI frameworks and can be extended to meet any business process requirements. Azure Boards can be used by anyone from a small team to the largest organization to manage their development work. Azure Boards has helped my team by allowing us to quickly plan and track our work. Our last planning sessions, about 4 business owners and a full team, lasted about 24 minutes using Azure Boards. This was outstanding work by both the team and the owners, but Azure Boards was a secret sauce that makes that possible. It's very easy to pick up and use and fairly simple to get started, but I think the most important lesson I can give you today is that because it's so easy for anyone to set up, it can get out of control for an organization trying to get a handle on who's doing what and when things are going to get done. So today I'm going to show you how to set up a sandbox, a learning environment, one that you can use for demonstration. But if you find success with this tool, we can help you develop and implement a solid plan to scale it to anyone else who may eventually want to get on board. We can help you answer important questions about work structure, digital models, and work item types. Our experienced work management process experts have seen a lot and are ready to guide you through a successful implementation. So let's take a look at how to get started with Azure Boards. So for this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and request from Microsoft a brand new environment. I start from the Azure Boards page, click Start Free. Just take me through a few clicks. And there we go, a new organization has been created. I know that because I'm up here and I can see the organizations in my environment. I have 2 that have been done for Sarah Davis and 1 for the UMT360 demo that we did a few weeks ago. These organizations are like silos. They are a way to contain process and permissions and different sets of projects or products depending on how you divide your model. So let's take a look at the model of the organization that was just created for us. This is blank out of the box. So I'm going to click on that organization and then click on Organization Settings. And you can see from the quick launch bar, we have a whole bunch of different settings. So I'm going to try to review some of these. So in the overview page, we have a description area, the name of your environment, or the organization, and who the owner is. This is a good place if you ever need to change the owner to come back and change it. While I'm here, I also want to tell my team or the people watching my site here what time zone I am working in primarily, so we can set it at Pacific time for this particular environment. And that's all I need to do here on this page. As we move down through the quick launch, you can see here they provide an administrative view of projects, an administrative view of users, an administrative view for billing. Now, out of the box, you get 5 free licenses. This is for 5 basic users. You can set up billing for adding more and more users and more licenses. There's a section for auditing. So this is where it'd probably be pretty light since it was just stood up, but as more and more actions are taken inside a brand new organization or inside the organization of Azure Boards, they get logged, and then you can see who's doing what and how that got changed, and so there's a complete audit log here. You can also get notifications from ADO or Azure DevOps on certain events, like when somebody builds some code or updates a particular epic or anything like that. You can get notifications. We also see by usage who's logged in. Basically, this environment is still being set up completely in the background, so the logging is probably just starting. I'm going to skip over extensions for now. We'll come back to it. This is where I can connect my organization to my organizational Azure Active Directory environment. So this tool allows the administrator to point their environment to the Azure Active Directory, so you can get users from your organization from the Active Directory service. We have further policies and permissions areas where we can assign permissions and policies to the environment and have complete control of security on the system. Down below here, I'm going to skip process for now, but down below here we have a bunch of settings here that are used to build our code. So this is a development or a developer's tool, and they can set up agents and jobs that build the code overnight, for example, and provide a bug report in the morning. So these are the pipelines that we'll cover probably in some other webinar. But for now, I want to drill in the process. So I've just stood up my organization, and I'm going to try to work a project with it. And one of the first things I want to do is I want to organize my process. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And as you can see out of the box, Azure Boards supports CMMI, Scrum, and Agile. Basic is basically no framework at all. It's just a basic template. It doesn't have any real process behind it. For my team, we work an Agile framework or a variation of the Agile framework. In Azure Boards, we can't necessarily modify the default one, but to create one for my team, I'm going to go ahead and use the create inherited process. So I can create from the Agile template, call it the UMT 360 Agile framework. And we've basically just inherited the entire process from Agile, and now we can take our inherited process and build a few things. So I would like to implement a few things that help the users from making mistakes. This kind of process control can be done at any one of the objects that we have inside of our framework. So our Agile framework starts with a bug, epic, feature, issues, tasks, some test cases, test plans, test suites, and user story. For my team, we're really interested in user stories, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look at what a user story looks like. And here we see the layout of the form that people will be using to complete a user story. This can be easily changed. You can add new fields. You can group the fields together in different areas, et cetera, et cetera. This little icon next to the words that looks like a little hierarchy means this particular area or this particular field, whatever the icon is next to, is coming from the parent. And it cannot necessarily be deleted, but it can probably be hidden from the view if it's actually inherited. We can add new fields, and there's a ton of new fields available. So use an existing field here. Not all the fields are shown. There's only a small handful. We can use this to capture more and more data. As this form gets really populated, we can add new tabs by adding a new page and showing more fields on different pages. So we can organize our data entry and capture and our management of data here using this layout tab. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we have the right flow for our process. And so that is the next tab here we call states. The flow for a user story starts from new, goes to active, typically can go to resolved, then closed, sometimes goes to removed. Now that's okay for out of the box, but for my team, we have a couple of unique requirements. My team is unique. We like to do things in a certain way. And one way is that we like to give the product owners an ability to work on their proposal before they submit it for work or for a sprint. So we need a new state to capture that. And what we'll do is we'll use the new state as the working copy, and then we'll put in a new state called ready. So when an owner is ready for us to review and put in that story into the mix, into the next planning, we know that story has been populated and ready to go. And what I like to do is I like to make it green, because green means go. Oh, and I do want to put it into the right category, so I want to put that in proposed. All right. Make that green. Okay, so now we have ready. So we start off with new. The business owner puts in the business case or the user story, and then writes, when they're ready for us to review it, they move it to ready. From there, we can put it into a sprint planning session, get it into a sprint, and make it active, and then work it from there. However, at the end of the sprint, we do a demo, and we would like to know which stories we need to demo. So we're going to need another state to put this into, and we're going to call this the demo state. We're going to put this as in progress, and we're going to make this green because during demo day, we want to pull out the green ones that are ready to be demoed. And as you can see, there it is. As you can see here, we have the parent states that are coming from the parent. They're being used here. My team doesn't use resolved, so I'm going to go ahead and hide resolved. I can't remove resolved because it's an inherited state, but essentially we're going to go from new to ready to active to demo to closed. If we want to remove things, we can leave that option alone. So I think this is a pretty good process for my team, and I think will help the team move forward at a higher level of less mucking with the tool, I guess I can say. All right, so we also want to be able to put some rules in, and one of the things that I want to show you is that we have the story points here, and when we work through new, they don't have story points. When they're ready, that's about the time the story points are getting assigned. When it goes to active, we do not want those story points to change once it's active. We want to put it back in the ready state. So we want to make those story points read only when it's active. And we do that with a rule. So with a new rule, I'm going to go ahead and put in and only. And we have a bunch of options here that we can do for our rule. So when a work item state changes to, let's say, active, over a little bit so you can see it. When a work item state changes to active, we are going to make read only. I got to get over here. And we'll just go story points. There we go. So there we go. So when we turn that story to active, the story points are going to go read only. So that way, when it's being active and worked on, people aren't changing the original estimate. All right. Let's refresh this to see if that took. I saw a little error go by. Let's try this again. There it goes, saved. Okay, so we got a rule in, we have our new custom states in, and our layout looks good. I don't think we need to capture any more information. So I think we have a pretty good control around our user story for my team to work. And I think that's what we would do. Now, in a normal deployment, we would certainly build this out quite a bit more, actually. In all these different areas, we're going to be managing the forms and the data inputs and things like that. We're going to be making tweaks on the rules and making maybe some changes to the flow, the states that it goes through. And that's in a typical implementation. But those are the general things we do to these work items. Okay, so as I said before, I'd come back to a couple of things. So this is basically how we put in our controls. I'm going to go back up to extensions. So extensions are a great way to extend Azure Boards in many different ways. So for my organization, I want to go ahead. One of the things that my team does is we do retrospectives at the end of every sprint. We have a special ceremony we call retrospective, where we do our lessons learned or capture our lessons learned. And there's a tool in here that we can extend our Azure Boards to get, and we call it retrospectives. And if we just search the marketplace, we find that it's a free little add-on here, and we're going to get it free. So it's really easy to extend the environment. There's plenty of options in the marketplace up here. So I'm in the settings, the organization settings under extensions, browse the marketplace. As you can see, there is a lot of stuff you can add. So it depends on how your team wants to work, and that's really cool about this tool. All right, so there's extensions for you. All right, so we've gone through setting up our environment. Let's go ahead and see what it looks like to create a project. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back out to the top environment here, and I'm going to create a project. And we just started this company, so we're going to start www site. We're going to have to build a site, the first thing we do, and we're going to make it public. I am going to choose my Agile framework that I created, so this project follows those rules. I created it. Yeah, there it is. And so we have the site up, and here's what a project site or a product site looks like, depending on your organization. It could be a project, it could be a product. In this case, it's a product. It's our www site, and we see that we have a bunch of different things. The area we do most of the work in is in this work items area. We have boards where we can have different views of the objects. I'll show you here. Oh, we get all this really fancy, cool instruction stuff, but we can look at it as a backlog here, and this is where we would start with, I'm just managing some views here. So we have features and stories, etc. Right? We can make a hierarchy there. We can add more things in the process. If we want to add epics, we can add epics. We can do a bunch of different things. We can use tasks as well. All right, so let me show you how to go ahead and put in a new user story. That's basically just click a new on the user story view, and I'm going to say, create landing page. All right, and we just created a new user story. So here's the user story here, and we can see that it's unassigned. It's in the new state. There's no story points yet. So let's just say place a one-page info on www. All right. Okay, so we have that, and we can go ahead and save it. And so now we have the use case all done. The owner can come in here and say, oh, we're ready. And during the save and close, now we can see which ones are ready. So we get all the ones that are ready. We start to review them. We say, oh, yeah, that's probably going to be a 2-pointer. Save and close. So then we want to go ahead and take a look and make some sprints and put it in a sprint. So let's go ahead and do that. Under project settings, we're going to find a area called project configuration, where you're going to see the iterations. And we're just going to set the dates of these iterations. So for iteration 1, we're going to choose, we'll start Monday, and we'll go through 3 weeks. So 1, 2, 3 weeks. We'll finish on Friday. And that's going to be our first iteration. And there we go. So now we have our first sprint. We can set dates for our future sprints if we'd like. So from the 10th, the following Monday is the 13th. Great. 3 weeks later is the 8th. Great. All right. It's already doing the calculations for me. Very cool. So I'm going to set the dates on this. And so from the 11th, this is great. 3 weeks out. All right. So we just got our next 3 iterations. That's how fast and easy it is to build your sprint plan. All right, so now we're going to put work in the sprints, and there's many different ways to do this. One way is from our board, and our view as a backlog board, and we can turn on planning. Turn on planning. There. And we can see our iterations, and so we can just drag our iterations over and place them into the sprints, right? So that's basically just dragging and dropping your stories, which ones you want to work on each sprint. As you can see, we have a planned effort of 2, and it's already totaling things up. We can see we know what our capacity is with our velocity in our team, and we can see, hey, did we take enough? So it's really easy to plan a sprint. I just created some sprints, added some dates, drag the work into the sprint, you're done. Really easy. This is really, really easy. All right, so let's take a look and see if that rule is working for us. Remember that rule? So the team is going to go ahead and say, okay, we're starting to work on this, and we're going to move it over to active. And we're going to, whoa, well, look what happened. When I turned it to active, the story points, I can no longer write over that. That's great. That's exactly what the rule wants. So now we're working on a story point, stay the same, and we're good. That's how we make that happen. All right, so we've just seen that rule. All right, so I know this has been very basic. I have very short minute time to show you how to set up Azure Boards and how to get it to help your team. I want to take a look at a different project that's kind of been set up, and I don't have to walk you through all of that. Here's a different environment, and here are a bunch of products in this environment. This environment is not using projects per se. Each element is a project. And so we're going to look at this particular project, and we're going to look at one of those boards that's kind of has a lot more information in it. In this case, we have epics deployed, and you can see that epics are related to features. Stories support those features, and tasks support those stories. So we have a hierarchy built for this particular organization that meets this particular team's requirements or this particular organization's requirements. We can do the planning the same way. Everything works the same way. It's just this one's fully broken out for you. It has a lot more information. I want to give you another example here where we can show you this information in different ways. So there's a whole different area over here called dashboards, and this is where it's very, very easy to make a dashboard. And basically all you really need to do is drag something onto the, let's say, retrospectives. Do I have retrospectives here? No, I have personas though. I can add that on here. And I just did, I think, done editing, and you can see it's down here. Not configured yet. But as you can see, it's very easy to edit and add things. So for a burn down chart, I can add that. Very easy to build dashboards. There's your burn down chart. You can configure these burn down charts in different ways. And this is kind of an endless playground. So we can definitely set up dashboards pretty easily. It's a kind of a point and click, do it yourself kind of thing. You can have way more than one dashboard for different reasons. And when you click through these dashboards, some of them, they take you back to the actual information that's included into it. So it's very, very nice. Okay, so now that we have an instance of Azure Boards set up and running for my team, how can my company make sense of all the information coming from all the various work management tools, all the different organizations in our Azure DevOps environment, and make sense of it all? Well, I think a good way is, the best way I've seen is to connect the multiple organizations in Azure Boards along with other group management tools that other groups are using with the UMT 360 Strategy Execution Manager. It's a great way to unify different work management systems to give your business the edge in strategy execution. UMT 360 Strategy Execution Manager provides missing portfolio management capabilities in many of these work management tools. It also offers a seamless integration between these tools so you can see a unified view of all this work going on and how it's actually meeting your strategy. If you're interested in learning more, my team is ready to help. Request a demo, get a Vic assessment, help deploying Microsoft Work Management tools, and be sure to visit our website at www.umt360.com. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone.